you know what joy, oh, what joy brings when we all in the home for the rest we need.
Proverbs 29:25. The fear of human opinion disables. Trusting in God protects you from that. Go ahead and give me the English Standard Version as well. The fear of man lays a snare, but whoever trusts in the Lord is safe. All right. So, we'll talk about people pleasing. We, a few weeks ago, when we were doing the I Matter series, one of our lessons was called I Please. And I wanted to revisit this within this series because I think it's one of those lessons I think we need to hear again and again. This idea of people pleasing, because especially I think it gets confusing for us as Christians. Especially because as Christians we're taught that we're supposed to be, you know, good and loving and kind and sacrificial and supposed to serve, you know, we're taught all of that. And you can come up in a home that's like that, where it's, oh, you're supposed to do this, you're supposed to be nice, you're supposed to be this, you're supposed to be that. You can go to a church that hammers that over and over and over again. You can be in an occupation that lends itself more to the service profession where you're supposed to do that more. Even if you're a minister, Lord knows you're supposed to be the servant of the church, and it's your job to make sure everybody is happy at all times. So it's real easy to fall into the trap of being a people pleaser and confuse being good with being nice. What are some signs that I might struggle with that? Well, we hate to disappoint others. That's a big one, right? Now, in all honesty, we don't all struggle with that. Some people, we don't mind disappointing people. You say amen when you get ready. Some people don't mind it, you know, like, you disappointed, and. But for some of us, to disappoint people really bothers us. It turns our stomach. It makes you nauseous. And for those who can't relate to that, just seems weird because it's like, why would I really care what they think? But for a lot of us, it's a struggle. And so we hate to disappoint others. Here's another hint. We have extreme difficulty just saying no. Right? And we have extreme difficulty saying no. And when we say no, you feel a need to have to explain why you said no. So it's, can you do so and so and so? Will you do no? And I would do it, but I could have did it, and I wanted to do it, but see, this happened, and that happened, and then you know what happens with people when you hear you say all that? They usually will listen to something you say in that, and then ask you, well, why can't you just do this? And then you start explaining yourself again, right? And then when you give them another reason, guess what they do? They take that and they break that up. And then and the more you explain, the worse it gets, because what we're not understanding is that the person simply just wants their way. It's not a matter of you having a viable excuse. It didn't matter to them. They want what they want. So the more explanation you give, the worse it's going to get, because they're just going to keep coming up with reasons to try to figure out why you can't just say yes.
Yeah. Amen.
Which means they already have their mind made up.
Yeah.
Now, for some of us, we can care less. We say no, and that's just me. And for some of us, we have to learn that more, right? People pleasing, you're probably quick to apologize. You don't want to offend. So when there's an altercation, something, you immediately, I'm sorry. Why? Because you want to disarm the situation. And sometimes we apologize prematurely, or we use the F word and say, I forgive you. I thought I would say something. It's a church from the show. You know, and we forgive. But do we really forgive? No, we won't forgive. All right, that's another lesson. But we forgive, right? And so what happens is the person a lot of times ends up doing the same thing over and over again to us. You know why? Because we just hand out forgiveness like it's so cheap. And we got more where that came from. Yeah, there you go. You never run out. So, because you don't ever run out, people feel like, hey, I got permission to keep running over you. And so and then you apologize, and that person will never apologize. You ever get like that people that just ain't gonna say it? But you say it, you'll find out what you, okay, this is what I did, and they ain't saying nothing. They ain't doing anything wrong. You can't stand to see people suffer. Now, you shouldn't enjoy seeing people suffer. So make sure I get that right. But this kind of ties into what we talked a little bit about last week, not so much changing people, but the whole codependency, where I feel more responsible for people's behavior and action than they feel themselves. All right? Well, if I fall into that trap, I can have a tendency to rescue people over and over again from the consequences of their own actions. And of course, in the process, what I do is I don't allow people to grow through those consequences. I don't allow them to gain resiliency. I don't allow them to experience downfall and to be humbled and to come back up. They get robbed of that because I come in, swoop, and swoop in and pull out. Why? Because I can't stand to see them hurt. So what happens is, their pain hurts me more than it's actually hurting them. You ever been, do you deal with people, you hurting for them, they ain't hurt. And you got enough care and concern for you and them, and they don't realize and they don't care. Where does it come from? I guess it can come from lots of areas, different ways. But what I have found more oftentimes than not, I guess it can become a rider, so to say, but sometimes you can become a people pleaser. And most of these issues, and I don't feel like we're blaming our child every week, but I do believe that we don't take in consideration a lot of our early childhood experiences, and they continue to impact us, and we don't know why. So sometimes it's necessary to revisit those things. So sometimes as children, we may have grown up in a home where love was extremely conditional. And in the church, we talk about unconditional love, right? But our families, most of our families were not places of unconditional love. And the reason being is because our families didn't come from families with unconditional love. And their family didn't come from a family of what? Unconditional love. What do you mean by unconditional love? I mean that I love you not based on your performance or your behavior or your ability to keep me happy, but I love you just because of who you are. Amen. That's what it means. And so, but a lot of us don't grow up in those kind of, we didn't come in those kinds of homes. We came up in the kind of home, as long as you meet these conditions, then I like you. And if you don't meet those conditions, guess what? I don't like you. I don't want to have anything to do with you. So I learned then to be manipulative in my behavior so that I can evoke a certain response from the people that are around me. Are y'all with me? Because I'm afraid that if I make a mistake or I mess up, you're going to withdraw your love from me, and then I'm going to be by myself. As a child, you don't have the resources to just walk away and say, I don't care what you think. That's your mama. You don't care what you think. That's your daddy. You don't care what your daddy thinks. That's your guardian. Whoever. You're going to have some concern, some care. Because all of us come in this world with a hunger and a thirst inside of us that say we want to be loved and we want to be accepted for who we are. Yes, but when that love is withdrawn and pulled over and given to us and pulled back, it's inconsistent, and I don't know you are from the moment you walk in the room. I can look at you from walking behind and tell that you're already angry about something. So I learned how to temper my reaction. I learned how to temper my personality so I can conform to the expectations of the people around me. Sometimes you come up in a home where one or both of your parents got real temper problems. And so they're always blowing up with anger. Then you do what you can to not set that person off, to not make them angry. And you, somewhere along the line, you learn to, you start believing that you are responsible for other people being happy. And as you get older, it gets more and more perverse. Because you actually start to think that you can control people's responses to you. That's what I'm talking about when I'm talking about people pleasing. And it's not easy to escape, especially if you grew up. Because most of the time, if you grew up in that, you know, all of us, y'all know I ain't no secret. We were not the Beavers. We were not the Huxtables. It was more like good times on steroids. But all of us come from, you know, most of us. Some of us come in a home where we learn where I don't care what nobody says, right? And that's dysfunctional. To be to one extreme where I can care less at all, I don't give any consideration to what anybody thinks at all, that's dysfunctional. Yes, sir. And then the other extreme, of course, is that I give too much care and too much concern to everyone around me. Right? All that's dysfunctional. That's just reality, right? Yeah. All right. So, you know, as usual, what I want to do is to look at some principles, some scripture, some verses of scripture, and see if we can pull a principle that might help us. Because this whole series is called Never Again. There's some things that I don't want to continue to do, because if I continue to do it, I'm going to get the same result, right? I keep doing what I've always done. I'm always going to get what I've always got. That's what we said at the first lesson, right? And we said the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, but I'm expecting what? Different results. And the results are not going to be different if I keep doing the same thing. All right, let's visit a couple of scriptures. Let's look at Matthew chapter 10 and verse 32. And let's look at this from the Message. Matthew chapter 10, verse 32. Y'all all right? All right, Matthew 10, 32. This is what he says. Jesus, he's talking to his disciples. We call this a limited commission. Think about it, Terry, you were sent on assignment. Okay, Jesus sends out his disciples on an assignment to preach and teach and to heal. We call it a limited commission because they weren't supposed to go to everyone. They were sent just to the people in their neighborhood, if you please. And so this is sort of like a trial assignment. And in the process of giving these instructions, he's also letting them know what some of the things they're going to have to deal with as they're going to be his ministers. Not just for this particular assignment, but from here on out, this is a part of the calling of not just being a minister, but more so if I'm going to be a follower and a disciple of Christ. These are some things that I got to be prepared for. One thing about Jesus is Jesus is not one of these people who gets you to sign and then goes later on and says, go read the fine print. Jesus is one of these people that he tells you on the front end, this is what it is. And what I have to offer you is great, but you may not want it. And if you don't want it, that's okay too. Yeah. That's Jesus. Jesus is not thirsty. He's not thirsty for followers. He only wants those who blindsided. He says, stand up for me against world opinion. Y'all think any opinions in the world that tend to go against Jesus? Oh, yeah. So he says, stand up for me against world opinion. And guess what he says? And I'll stand up for you before my Father in heaven. One day, you're going to need somebody to stand up for you. He says in verse 33, if you turn tail and run, do you think I'll cover for you? Watch this. Don't think I've come to do what? To make what? Life cozy. Let's let that sink in for a moment. Don't think the purpose of my coming was to make everyone or to make life, y'all know cozy is? Comfortable, right? Like you sitting in your, you know, like that blanket thing they got now where you put your arms through. I want one of them. What they call that? Snuggie. Confession time. Go tell them that it stays in here. I wouldn't mind having a snuggie. You know, you put your arms through the blanket. I mean, that seems like it just, you know, and then have something on your feet all wrapped up, you know. But you can't be too hot. You got to be cool enough in the house where it's good enough. Y'all know. Okay. There you go. He said, I ain't come to make life cozy, but I come to do what? Cut. Whoa. Make a sharp, watch this. Y'all can find out something this morning. Make a sharp knife, cut between what? Son and father, daughter and mother, bride and mother-in-law, cut through these cozy domestic arrangements and free you for God. Ooh. Let me read the next verse. You know we're going to read it like that. Well-meaning family members can be your worst enemies. Let's look at the ESV now. Oh, no. Say it. Let me get it for you. If you prefer father or mother over me, you don't what? Deserve me. If you prefer what? Son or over me, you don't do what? What, verse 38? If you don't go all the way with me through thick and thin, you what? Don't deserve me. Now put up the English Standard Version. Go back to verse 32. So everyone who acknowledges me before men, I will also acknowledge before my Father who is in heaven. But whosoever denies before men, I will also deny before my Father who is in heaven. Do not think that I've come to bring peace to the earth. I have not come to bring peace, but a sword. I've come to set a man against his father, and a daughter against her mother, and a daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law. And a person's enemies will be those of his own household. Whoever loves the father or mother more than me is not worthy of me. Whoever loves the son or daughter more than me is not worthy of me. And whoever does not take his cross and follow me is not worthy of me. And whoever finds his life will lose it. And whoever loses his life for my sake will find it. So Jesus is giving an instruction. He says, I want you to understand something. I did not come for the express purpose of making life cozy. Now, are there going to be some cozy moments in Christ? Yes. A lot of time with Christ will be cozy, but he says, don't think that that's the reason, that's the purpose. It's just like school. You know how we go to school, you know, the people, I don't like school, and school's not fun. Oh, okay. Somewhere we got the message that school was supposed to be fun. No, see, you don't see the purpose of school is not so you can see. Y'all know I got that speech a lot, right? I mean, it's still right there. I heard that a lot. The purpose of school is not so you can play with your friends. The purpose of school is not so that you can have. Now you might play with very different Jesus that we hear about, is it? I came so that I could draw a line. And because of my teaching and what I present, even family relationships can get broke down. Husbands and wives who made vows to each other can become separated over Jesus' message. Mother and daughter, mother-in-law and daughter-in-law, son-in-law, father-in-law, brother and sister. That's what happens. And then Jesus says, hey, if you're not willing to prefer me or your loved ones, then you can't really be my disciple. It's either me or them. That's just so divisive. Exactly. Acts 5 and verse 29. See, this is the reason why there's drama in your life. Acts 5:29. Now this is an occasion after the apostles, they've moved on to this universal commission. They're preaching everyone they can preach to now. And the apostles, they are brought up on charges. They are arrested. And then they are freed. And the Jewish people of that day and that time who had not accepted Jesus Christ as Savior, they were persecuting Christians at that time because they felt like what they were doing was going against God. They had not accepted that Christ was actually God. And so the Bible tells us, let's see, in verse 21, Acts 5:21, notice what he says. And when they promptly obedient, they entered the temple at daybreak and began to teach. Went on with their teaching. Meanwhile, the chief priest and his cronies convened the high council, Israel's Senate, and sent to jail to have the prisoners brought in. When the police got there, the popos, they couldn't find them anywhere in the jail. They went back and reported. We found the jail locked tight as the drum and the guards posted at the doors, but when we went inside, we didn't find the what? The chief of the temple police and the high priest were puzzled. What's going on here anyway? He said. Just then someone showed up and said, did you know that the men you put in jail are back in the temple teaching the people? The chief and his police went and got them, but they handled them gently. Why? Fearful that the people would rise and turn on them. Bringing them back, they stood before the high council. The chief priest said, listen, didn't we give you strict orders not to teach in Jesus' name? Didn't we tell you not to teach people about Jesus? And here you have filled Jerusalem with your teaching, and you're trying your best to blame us for the death of this man. We told you not to teach. So why are you doing it? Watch verse 29. Peter and the apostles answered, it's necessary to be able to what? Obey God rather than men. Stop there. So here the apostles, they were preaching and teaching, doing what God asked them to do. They had been arrested. They were placed in prison. God freed them and let them out. And when God freed them and let them out, you know what they did? They went right back to doing what they was doing before. And when they were questioned why they were doing it, and so we told you not to do it, they said, look, we ought to obey God rather than man. Do you see how the two are set against each other? God, man. We ought to obey God rather than man. I'm If you really follow along, there's something in here that's going to help us about people pleasing. Last scripture for now. Galatians 1 and verse 9. Y'all see that? Actually, verse 10. Galatians 1, verse 10. Notice what he says. Paul says, because they were challenging Paul, and they had Paul had a lot of problems. But he said, do you think I speak this strongly in order to manipulate crowds? Do you believe I'm teaching what I'm teaching so that I can make people happy? Do you think I do this so I can manipulate crowds? Or to curry favor with God? Or to get popular applause? If my goal was popularity, I wouldn't bother being Christ's slave. Now give me ESV. For am I now seeking the what? The what? Approval of man or who? Or am I trying to do what? Please man. If I was still trying to please man, I would not be a what? Servant of Christ. Paul says, notice now, he's asked, why do you think I do this? Do you really think I do this because I want the approval of people? If I were trying to please man, I could not do both. I cannot make my goal and my purpose in life to make man happy and make God happy. If I make my goal to make people happy, I cannot be the servant of Christ. A lot of either or type language going on, right? Jesus will say later, he who is not with me doesn't gather with me, he scatters. So, I mean, what are we learning from all this? I mean, we're supposed to be talking about people pleasing. And, you know, I see quite clearly that Jesus obviously wasn't a people pleaser, but I'm not Jesus. Right? That's usually how I play. I'm not Jesus. Well, no, you're not. Neither am I. But there's something we can learn from what Jesus is saying. When he says a man's whole shall be of his own household. When he says he that prefers mother or father more than me is not worthy of me. Or when the apostles say, look, we got to obey. We hear what you're saying, and we understand that what we're saying is upsetting you, but we have to obey God rather than men. There's something that Paul is saying to us when Paul says, look, if I have to make up my mind. Either I'm going to seek to please men or I'm going to seek to please God. And if I make myself a pleaser of men, then I can never be the servant of God. There's something in at least those three passages that can help us deal with our desire to please. They're not that intellectually deep at all. They really, and this is not to insult our intelligence, because this is something that I remind over and over again. But they're really principles of common sense that we have forgotten. The reason why you can't be a pleaser of people, because every decision divides. Every decision divides. Do you know what the word decide means? Its etymology, where it comes from, actually the word decide. When you say you decide something, you know what that actually means? It comes from a word which means to cut. Exactly. See, whenever you make a decision, you make a cut. Every choice is a cut. Every decision is a cut. There's no way for you to make a decision and not make a cut. You can hear the word cision like an incision. It's a a what? It's a cut. You see the relationship in there, right? A cut. So when I decide something, I have determined to make a cut. And the question is not who, and there's no way for you to see it. It's just illogical. You cannot make a decision without having some people on this side and some people on this side. You can't do it. How can you make a cut and keep everything whole? Every time you make a choice, every time you say yes to something, you are saying no to something else. Yes, sir. Amen. You cannot say yes and no at the same time referring to the same thing. No. Unless you're the president. Not the current one, of course. I'm just saying in general. Politicians, right? And not all of them. But about not, you can't talk out of both sides of your mouth. But do you know the people, when we fall into the trap of people pleasing, that's honestly it's what we end up doing a lot of times. I'm not saying we mean to, we don't intend to, but what happens is when you're with this crowd, with this group, you're trying to please this group. And then when you get over to this group, you don't want to upset them, and then you don't want to upset them, and then you don't want to upset them, and then you're trying to, because we have not really thought about the idea that, guess what, when I make up my mind, I made a cut. See, somewhere down the line, you and I started believing that we had the power to make people happy. See, you can't make people happy. I don't care what you do. People become happy because they want to be happy. And if you start thinking that you have the power to make people happy by your choices, and you become enslaved to their approval, then every choice and every decision you make will always be guided by what everybody else and whether or not they're going to be happy. I remember almost, I don't know how many years, maybe 7, 8 years ago, there was a great basketball player. He's the greatest basketball player on the planet right now. I'll give him that. He's not the greatest of all time, Jay. But when LeBron James left the Cleveland Cavaliers, he had a whole program called The Decision, right? It's ESPN program, remember? It's called The Decision. And I remember, we like to rewrite history, like everybody was cool with it when he did it. They forgot about all the jerseys being burned and set on fire and all that. And all we crying in the street, they were rioting in Cleveland because he left, because he said, I'm taking my talents to South Beach. And in all honesty, I really didn't care too much for his decision either. But not really just his decision to go there, but I really didn't I really didn't care too much all the hype and how he did it, Just like, man, you don't go to another team, go to another team. We got a whole ESPN program and, what is all this for? That was me. And I really liked his decision, but you know what I thought about it later? I said, you know what? Grown man. That's right. If he don't want to play for the team, he got to play for that team. If the owner decides they want to trade him, guess what they're going to do? They don't trade. So why shouldn't he be allowed the freedom to go where he want to go? That's right. Most recently, Kevin Durant did the same thing, right? He made a choice. That's all I'm saying. And when they made a decision, guess what they did? They made a cut. Some people were happy. Some people weren't very happy. Right? And I believe KD said just recently, he was talking to another, I can't remember the guy that went to Oklahoma. Paul George went to Oklahoma. And he said the reason why he went, he called Kevin Durant first, asked him what he thought about Oklahoma. Now, Kevin Durant could have been nasty. Oklahoma this, Oklahoma that, but he ain't had no problem with Oklahoma. Y'all know the problem with him and Westbrook. That's a whole nother soap opera. You can be friends with everybody, but you can't work with everybody. So, but he said, hey, the team is good. And he told him, look, man, people are going to talk about you no matter what you do. Now, you may not agree with his decision and all that, but I did think there was a good spiritual principle there to remember that no matter what you do, there's going to be somebody that have a problem. You just have to make up in your mind where you're going to make the cut. Because you're going to make one. You're going to have to make the cut. And you have to know ahead of time that when I make this cut, that there are going to be people who are going to be happy with my decision, and there are going to be people who are not happy with my decision. Are y'all still with me? Yeah. I mean, it's not going to work you try to make everybody happy. I'm going to tell you why. Number one, in order to make everybody happy, you're going to have to be multiple people. And you got to be multiple people. You remember, I'm old school, so I remember He-Man. Y'all probably remember that. You know, my kids watched it on the old Boomerang, those old stations. But you know, there used to be a villain on He-Man named Manny Faces. And his faces, you know, he could keep putting a new face up. He was a good guy? Well, he was a villain, I was Oh, okay, well, you say he was good. I don't believe he was good. But he kept changing faces, Deacon. And he kept changing faces. But that's what you're going to have to do. And each face has a different personality, right? And if you're going to please everybody, you know what you're going to have to do? You're going to have to be multiple people. You're going to have to have a face for this crowd. You're going to have a face for this crowd. You're going to have a face for this crowd. And I see people in the world do it. And guess what? I see people in church do it. I see all kinds of groups in churches. I've been preaching. I watch it. When they with this crowd, I can listen to them. And I watch how they respond. And then they get with this crowd. And I was like, what in the world? Is this the same? And they get another group, they different. Well, who is the real? Which one is really them? Sometimes people do that because they just got ulterior motives and they just being slick. And then sometimes people don't do because they're being slick. They're just afraid of being an outcast. So when they go into a group, what they always do is checking the temperature. They know what to say. They know how to say it. They know how to measure every single word. And to a degree, that can be a strength when you're talking about tact and diplomacy. But if you're not careful, you will find yourself not knowing who you are. Because you're always somebody different. But you can't accept it no matter what version of yourself you have. People are not going to like it. If you try to be everything to everybody, not only you got to be multiple people, you're going to make the wrong people happy. I want to say that again. You're going to make the wrong people happy. See, if you can't, I know I want you to read that. You're going to make the wrong people happy. If you try to please everyone, you're going to make the wrong people happy. You cannot make everybody happy, because in making everybody happy, you're going to make the wrong people happy. In other words, you're going to let people do things they shouldn't do around you, get away with things, even cause harm to other people. Why? Because you're trying to make them happy. You can even allow people to hurt you, because you're more concerned with their happiness than you are with your own pain. I want to leave you with this. I don't know if you've ever heard it before. You can look it up on the internet. I didn't write these, but I revisit these from time to time. I consider myself kind of recovering people. I consider myself recovering everything. So, but people pleasing. Listen here. This is called the Bill of Rights. It's a you know we have the Bill of Rights for our country, but this is like the Bill of Rights for our self-esteem. And I want you to listen to these, okay? Because this will help you to own your life, and you need to go back and repeat these, and if you can, copy, print it out, and look at it again and again. It doesn't make you less than a man or less than a woman to rely on these, but sometimes we need to be reminded, because when you have been fed so many negative messages over and over again, you have to be intentional about reprogramming your mind. But number one, I have the right to ask for what I want. Everybody has that right. Now, you're not going to receive everything you want, but you have the right to ask. People make you feel bad for just asking. And if you fall to the category of people pleasing a lot, you won't ask. Because people make you feel like you don't even have the right to ask. You have the right to say no to requests or demands you can't meet. If you can't do it, guess what? I can't do it. And you don't owe anybody any explanation for that. If you can't, you can't. And only you know. I think you lying. You think what you want to think. I'm telling you, I can't do it. So you have to remind yourself that every human being is afforded that right to simply say, no, I can't. And you'll notice that if you're a people pleaser, people don't have a problem telling you no. You notice that? People have the hardest time saying no, have people in their lives that don't mind saying no to them. Y'all quiet, so I know y'all listen. I have the right to express all of my feelings, positive or negative. If you go home, you never allow to shed a tear, never allow to say what you're angry about. You can grow up bottling all those negative emotions and keeping them on the inside. Or maybe you want to be happy, but everybody in the house is always mad and angry, and they don't want no happy emotions in the house. But you have that right. So if people say, is this person, you having a good time, you're happy, and they think you goofy, well, think I'm goofy. I'm having a good time. You gotta learn how to have a good time by yourself. Everybody else can be upset, but that don't mean I gotta be upset. You go to work, everybody else mad. Why you ain't mad? Because I'm not mad. I'm not supposed to be mad because you mad. I'm not supposed to be happy because you happy. I'm happy. I'm not happy today. Well, I'm happy. Good for you. Praise the Lord. That don't mean I'm hating on your happiness. It just means I can't share that right now because I don't feel that way. And it's okay for me to feel different from you. I don't have to match my emotions and your feelings with you, and you don't have to match yours with mine. I can respect your feelings, and guess what? You can respect my feelings, right? But if I don't respect your feelings, what I'm trying to do, if I'm not careful, I try to manipulate your feelings so that your feelings match my feelings. Because maybe I feel bad that you feel bad, and I think it's my fault, but it really got nothing to do with me. I have the right to change my mind. You have the right to change your mind. Why did I change my mind? But you used to teach I changed my mind. You ain't obligated to think the same way at 65 that you thought when you was 25. I have the right to make mistakes. And I have the right to not have to be perfect. Yeah. I have that right. I have the right to be human. Because that is what I am. I have the right to follow my own standards. I have the right to say no to anything when I feel I am not ready, or it's unsafe, or it violates my values. I have the right to determine my own priorities. I have the right to not be responsible for others' behaviors, actions, or feelings, or problems, because you're not careful. Every time somebody says in your house, you may have grew up like that. Or you carry that to the job, you carry it to church, you carry it to school. Whenever people are upset in your social circle, you think you are responsible to fix everything. So you try to make them happy, and when you're done with them, you make them happy, and you're done with them, you make them happy, you're done with them, you make them happy, and you know you ain't even thinking about you. And you're going to burn out. I can promise you. it as much as I used to in the context of church, but boy, I used to struggle with it. You know what helped break me out of that? Preaching for a congregation of 450 plus people. I think that is absolutely insane that I'm going to make sure every individual in this church is happy. But sometimes you have to be broken first before you realize that. I have the right to expect honesty from others. I have the right to be angry at someone I love. I have the right to be myself. I have the right to be scared. I have the right to say I don't know. I have the right to not give excuses or reasons for my behavior. I have the right to make decisions based on my feelings. That's the way I feel. It's just the way I feel. I have the right to my own needs, my personal space and time. I have the right to be playful. I have the right to be healthier than those around me. I have the right to be in a non-abusive environment. I have the right to make friends and be comfortable around people. I have the right to change and grow. I have the right to have my needs and wants respected by others. I have the right to be treated with dignity and respect. I have the right to be happy. And there are other versions you can find online that people have added on to it. But the principle is the same. You have a right to do that. You don't have to spend your life, your whole existence is not for the purpose of making everybody happy. It may sound good, but it's not. It's actually, it's close, in all honesty, it's closer to a sickness. It's not psychologically healthy. And then you can never be at your best for God if what people think and what people feel control you. I'm not saying you can't do it. You can, you will. We all will. But you won't be at your best until you recognize that God is going to be my master. And the beautiful thing about God is that God wants you to be happy. God doesn't want you to be a people pleaser. And you don't have to be, you don't take your same attitude, people pleaser, him to transfer to God. God ain't no ego trip. You ain't got to do nothing to make him happy. God day ain't off because you didn't do X, Y, Z. So if we follow God, he'll actually get our minds back to where they need to be. That's right. So that we're related to one another the way we should relate to them. Now, don't take anything I said this morning to mean that I'm saying that we should be selfish. I'm not saying that we should be selfish or that we should disregard people's feelings or that we should be inconsiderate of each other. But I am saying that you should not allow yourself to be manipulated by people who only want their way and are only looking for what's in their best interest. You have a right to look out for your own interests. You have a right to say, no, I don't think so. And you have a right to do that without explanation. And just kind of a thing to drop on us too. People pleasing too, believe it or not, as I've learned it, understand it, and experienced it, it's actually a form of being controlling. We don't think about it that way, but it really is a way of controlling. Because what I'm doing, I'm being controlling, because what I'm going to do, I'm going to walk into this environment, and I don't want you to respond to me like A, B, C, or X, Y, Z. So I'm going to try to act in such a way that I can get you to either respond like this or not to respond like that. Rather than simply just, hey, I'm going to be me, and whatever happens, happens, and I trust that God has given me enough strength to be able to deal with it. Because if you allow yourself to be overcome by the fear of man, it's only going to be a trap for you. But if you can simply say, hey, I'm not here to make everyone happy. That's not my life goal. I have hard enough time trying to make me happy. I am not here to make the whole world happy. That's a job too big for any of us. Everyone is responsible for their own happiness. If you're not happy, I am not the cause. And if I'm not happy, you're not the cause. I choose to be happy or not happy. based on what somebody does or does not do. And I can make up in my mind ahead of time that I'm going to have a good day today. And you're not going to get me here today. Some days I may not be as good, but most days I'm going to wake up and say, you can say whatever you want to say. When I'm done with this, I'm going to have a good time. I'm going to find me a rib joint, swigging swine wrong, get some sausages and ribs and baked beans. And I can eat by myself and have a good time too. Don't bother me. Hey, go watch a movie, kick back. I ain't gonna know. Okay, you understand what I'm saying? You gotta take care up here. You gotta take care. I pray something that been said this morning that has would encourage you to just remember that you can't please everybody. You're not going to. So never again try to please people. Amen. 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 And you should understand. I can say that like this now because I think both have got to understand in maturity that we're not saying go around taking people off. That's not what we're saying. That's not the lesson, Brother Ernest. All right.
No more labor. No